It's been a while since we first shown you the all-new Audi Q5 here in the new generation Autogefühl. Be sure also to check out our very first review, but today another look here at the Q5 in the new generation, this compact SUV, a segment which is still surging worldwide, and here in the premium segment. We will take a detailed look on the exterior, interior and the driving experience with the Q5 here on Autogefühl, your #1 resource for in-depth car reviews and your #1 community to discuss cars with Thomas. And everything you need to know about this vehicle you will enjoy in full screen, full HD and full length. Let's go! Already at the front we can see the design scheme of the Q5, and that is in general elegant but very conservative. Maybe it's not the right decision for people who want to drive a very screaming out car, but maybe more people like a rather conservative layout. What is your take on this? The only thing that's really screaming out is the big single frame grille here framed around. Then we got the headlights pretty much horizontally drawn. Standard, they do not come with LED. Then you can get optional LED, or then here the highest trim, the matrix LED that also have the high beam function. And you see those accentuations on the hood to give the strength, a little accentuation right here for the front hood. It is also really making its debut here totally to the front. So I like it that when we don't have this split here in the front, it makes a more elegant design. 4.66 m or 15'3" is the total length of the all-new Q5. It is now built in Mexico, in the federal state of Puebla. And people have been arguing about that quite a lot. And my experience from the first and now the second ride is you cannot really see in the quality that it's from Mexico, because the same quality standards apply. However, you can argue, why are they doing it? For cost savings, because the wages are way lower, but the customer doesn't profit from that. Rims, they go from 17 to 21 inch. This one here in the middle with 19 inch, and also very conservative layout, but you can also get some more spicy rims for sure. In the side profile you see there's one design line going from the hood, and I think it's a beautiful clean design from the hood all the way above the door handles to the very rear. The windows are pretty upright, but that will offer us a good round view in the interior and also some more space. So overall you see what I'm telling you in the front also, a rather conservative layout, but also a little bit of form follows function. And again, usually on the car market, if you're doing too much joyful stuff, also customer will not really cheer for it. So this might be going well, and it has been a bestseller so far. What's your take? The new generation has saved about 90 kilograms in weight, so it's a little lighter now. And prices, they start taking Germany as a reference, 40,000, then with a 2-liter TDI as we have here today, for example, with all-wheel drive, 50,000, and then if you add all the extras, and you can add so many extras here, then it gets really expensive. This very test vehicle, 70,000 euros. I think that's too expensive for a compact SUV. Then from the design layout, you see here again horizontal stress. Again, very clean design, and my personal favorite are those tail lights. They have this 3D layout, or you can really feel it, and then those, could maybe say, tiger claws on the inside. And this is probably the most spectacular element of the exterior design. So what do we have? Engines. This is a 2-liter TDI, available as 150, 163, or here 190 horsepower. Then already combined with the all-wheel drive. then as a 3-liter TDI with 218 horsepower or 286 horsepower, and petrol engines, 2-liter TFSI 252 horsepower, we've driven that one in Mexico, and a 3-liter TFSI with 354 horsepower. That one will be the SQ5, and we will show you that one very soon here on Autogefühl. So you can always stay tuned if you want to see more different versions of the Audi Q5. Again, later on take the Mexico review with the beautiful landscape. You should definitely watch that. And then in a couple of weeks there will be the SQ5 coming up. In general, what is interesting with the the automatic gearboxes, if you have the biggest diesel, the 3-liter TDI with 286 horsepower, but just this horsepower version, and the SQ5, the biggest petrol one, then you will have a converter automatic gearbox. Everything else then is with the dual clutch transmission as this one here today. Let's get inside with this beautiful key. I think, so it's pretty slim and has an elegant design, or even the knobs, they have high class knob sound, I would say. So I really liked it. The door handles, they flip to the upside, and this one here is that you can theoretically still manual open the car. So if you maybe have lost the battery power, something like that, then you could put the key here in manual just to to have this as a backup plan. Then let's take a look. What they've chosen here is a matte wood. It's an ash tree, or Esche in Germany, and that feels very well. I really like that they do that. High class build quality also here, and with the buttons, for example, here to open or close the door. But then again, this is a premium SUV, and on the top part of the door we have just hard plastics. Too much cost saving here. I think the customer should receive, for example, a nice textile cover or a leatherette cover, or at least soft plastic materials. It's just maybe, well, no, it's actually pretty hard. Or something like this, for example, here with the microfiber on the inside. That is definitely well done. And also the buttons here for the windows that click very well. Space here on the inside of the doors, I think you can live by that. You can also open the hatch with this button here. And then let's take a further look on the inside, where we have another ash tree matte wood style right there. The steering wheel continues the design from the front grille with a single frame, Audi single frame. I like when interior deals repeat something from the exterior. Seats, 2 basic forms, normal seat and an S Sport seats. The S Sport seats you have seen in the review from Mexico. I cannot recommend them, rather go for the non-sport seats, as they offer you more space and are more comfortable. In Germany it starts with a fabric cover, I would go for that, or alternatively you can have microfiber on the inside but then animal skin on the outside. Audi sadly does it that way. This one here, they usually equipped all their test vehicles with full animal skin equipment, which get pretty hot in summer and cold in winter. And Audi is really reluctant in this topic. Every manufacturer I'm talking to is saying, yeah, we are developing new things, new materials that are sustainable but very luxurious at the same time. Bentley 2 days ago, or a couple of days ago, said they were bringing the first non-animal skin interior very soon. Just Audi is the only manufacturer that says, whatever, we don't care so much. Well, let's see what the future then brings for this brand. Seating position here is actually quite good. Headroom, a lot of room still left here, so that's very well done. Also, there's no panoramic roof here inside. However, you can also go for the panoramic roof and still you will be quite okay when you're tall. Then the steering wheel can be adjusted in all 4 ways. That again, great from the build quality. Again, it's a pretty easy system also. You can argue if it should be electrically, but I'm also fine with this manual system. You have an upright seating position in this SUV, a good view to all of the sides. that is also pretty good. And there again, the conservative layout on the exterior has advantages than on the interior. The seats have an electric lumbar support. Other than that, they have the menu control here. You can also get electric seats if you want it. Here you can just pump it up like this or pump it down. And to open the front hood, it's this latch here in the top part. And it was also pretty nice for the head-up display. You can easily control it with this knob right there. You can activate or deactivate it, the projection, and then you can also change the height of the projection like this. So, and here we are, the head-up display. Speed information is over right there, and if you then want to change the height, you can see now it's out of the picture. Depending on your personal height, you can really change it around, and there will also be, for example, GPS information or also information on the current allowed speed. The cockpit or instrument display starts with the analog one, then optional you can go for the virtual cockpit as we see it right now here. So fully digital, and you can also switch around the views a little bit. For example, go to a GPS view in the middle part, or have your sound or telephone information right there. Here for some trance music. Also see the consumption, and then you can switch the view here. Also, if you're then in the GPS view, you can have a full GPS over the whole screen. So you're pretty flexible in this respect, like this here. Also with a satellite view, if you want to have it. Looks very spectacular for sure. Cockpit overview. What is nicely done that they have also the design lines from the exterior also here included in the interior, like here for example with the horizontal layout. Here the plastic is just a little bit softened up, so something in between. 8.3 inch is the top screen you can have. You can also have smaller ones. Then you can see also, for example, with an Apple CarPlay integration. What is good is then when you have an internet connection and you click on phone, that you can also use it, with voice commands. That is, the advantage. Then the vents are placed right there, and my favorite part is always the climate unit under the strip with the matte wood interior. And I really like the climate unit with blue and red symbol lights, and then you can have this nice Audi clicking sound, my favorite clicking sound in the automotive industry, and also with those capacitive buttons right there that change something, and also the whole layout. So my favorite climate unit overall. The steering wheel is actually pretty huge, so there are a lot of smaller steering wheels, but it has also great elegance here with this chrome detail right there. And for such a vehicle, it's also not too bad if it's a little bit bigger. It doesn't have to be the most, the smallest, most dynamic steering wheel overall. And this column here is a little bit thicker, that you can have this projector for the head-up display right there we've just shown you. So a close look at the infotainment system. No touch whatsoever. It looks like, you really want to touch this button then. But no, nothing happening there. You have to control it with the central MMI stick in the lower part. And here you can switch back to the car infotainment system then again, and also check out how the GPS looks right there, for example. You can go to the map directly like this, and with a satellite view here, it of course looks really amazing. And the GPS in general is also doing a good job. You can also connect your phone via Bluetooth. That one would also be possible. And those vehicle views here, when you want to set different driving modes, for example, also well done from the visualization part. And here you can pick the different riding modes, and you can see then here how the car is lifted up by this optional air suspension. We'll talk more about that when we drive the car. Here we can pick the driving modes here with the driving select buttons. Then there's some space here in the front, for example, for basement garage beeper, start stop button. And what I really like here, we usually also see that in Bentley cars with metal knurling around the 12-volt power supply covers. Love that. Then you have this touchpad here optionally. You can draw, for example, like A, B, whatever, when you are in a GPS mode and want to have an address, or you can also have some hotkeys right here from 1 to 8. Then there's the central knob you can control everything with, and the automatic gearbox, dual clutch transmission. It's a pretty good lever. You can very fastly switch around from rear to driving mode and so on. Next to that is some space for the key, or maybe you can also sometimes put a smartphone in here, for example, volume knob. Then the bottles actually fit quite well into adaptive holders, so different sizes fit quite well. The armrest can be put a little bit higher, and then you can also rest your arm on it while driving, pretty fixedly attached. Then you can put your smartphone here if you want to use an inductive charging, and if your smartphone is suitable for that. Here again the adaptive bottle holders, but you can also slide that forward, that you can rest your phone right here, that you can still see or reach for it. And then have some more space right there with 2 USB plugs. So while the normal glove box is not too spacious, there's another hole right here next to the steering column. And what's going on there? It's like you can. How long is that? Really interesting, and just have an idea. Maybe even an umbrella fitting in there. So give me your ideas of what you would fit right there in this one. A Colt maybe. Pull it out. So the rear compartment, let's open the door, right there. And you see I've got the seat as I would be driving. You can already see that there's not too much space left. I will soon show you that. First of all, you can also fold the seats here. You have to use this lever, and then you can fold down the seats from here. But we will soon show you that it will also be possible to flip them from the trunk. Then let's get inside. Let's see. And this is not a good result for a compact SUV. So you see the seats are pretty thick. Some space in front of my legs is still left, but we've seen way better packages. Then headroom, that is actually plentiful, that's no problem. And by this lever here you can also adjust a little bit the angle of the backrest. I like that. So you can have it more in the back and also more upright. Also, you can slide the bench, for example, a little bit forward, depending if you want to have more luggage space. Well, maybe I could slide with my seat a little bit more forward. So to say that, that would give us, some more centimeters in the front than with the front seats. But here in general, you are very flexible with the rear bench. You have this 2/3, 1/3 split, also then to adjust the position. So that is well done. And optional, you can also have this 3-zone AC. So you also have an option for the rear passengers. So let's check the hatch, electric one here. Ta-da! This is very nicely done here. Feels also very good. Probably also prone to scratches, but this is high-class build quality. Then, you see it here, it's not that you can just press it and then it falls down. That would be the best solution. Here you just have to do it like this, but it is here with some rails on the side, still a clean solution. Then you also get, for example, here this flatly folded tire is a pretty interesting solution. It's a real full tire basically, but it's just folded, and good idea. And the sound systems part in the middle part. Then you can get different solutions here for the rear. For example, here you can adjust it, for example, here with the net and split it. You can put this one over there. Then you have this system here available, which you can also put out, for example, or then you have to use those ones here to slide it. So you can split it half, for example. So you have a lot of solutions here how to split this trunk, and you can see that the basic shape is also rather versatile. Then you could also flip the seats like this from here, also nicely done. On this side here you can also move the car down if you have the air suspension for an easier loading. Also you can flip the other bench. Well, here we go. Okay, there we go now. So sometimes it needs a little help. And then let's move it really down. So like this. And then you're actually quite flexible. So very well usable overall, the luggage compartment, which is from the usual setup above 500 liters. Oh, that was a little fail now. You see that can happen when you flip it out. So from a basic one, it's just right above 500 liters, and then it goes up, as we have seen it right now, just above 1,500 liters. And children's safety, do they apply too much torque? Yeah, they do. Audi engineers, a little bit less torque behind that hatch, that would be safer. So guys, let's go with our drive for today. And the earlier 2-liter TDI is here on right now. We'll start with a short ride on the Autobahn to show you the acceleration. And well, we can also go to the Audi Drive Select and have the dynamic mode, which will turn up the gears a little bit higher, and therefore also helps us in the acceleration. So gears are turned up higher and also shifted earlier down again. So I would say from 50 to 100, something like that. Let's go. Plop. That's it. So that was 50 to 100, and you see this is a really reasonable acceleration. It's of course not too powerful, but this engine here gives you way enough power. You know, this is also available with lower horsepower variants. But this one here, you know, you can also get the 3-liter TDI, so that would also be possible. But again, I mean, it's a very suitable engine for this car if you are still buying a diesel, you know. For the long-term run, some people might still want to go for it, but we've heard that it's declining now steadily. Volvo has also just announced to be the first premium manufacturer not to develop new diesel engines, because they will increase their 4-cylinder petrol plus hybrid engine way, for example. And I think also the other manufacturers will steadily follow. Also these days we will bring you more CNG vehicles. This one will also be very interesting, coming up pretty soon. But if you think, you know, still want to have a diesel here, this one here makes actually a very good job, because it is very silent. They're pretty well insulated. You've seen the performance is also good. I can also go back, for example, to the comfort mode, that I have a more comfortable ride. Here with the air suspension, that was also pretty funny, showing me in the display. When I go to the dynamic mode, also the car goes down just a little bit from the air suspension, that I have, you know, a little bit more control over the car. If I go to the auto mode, I'm in the neutral position. If I would go to the lift or lift off-road mode, then I could actually, let's see. Well, turning circle is pretty good. Nice. That's well done. So if you go to this lift or off-road mode, you can have a little bit more ground clearance. That is also helping. So here in the corner, the car is pretty stable, although we have the air suspension, so there's no wobbling or what you say. Still, you know, pretty dynamic car. This is the normal mode, and then let's switch back to the dynamic mode again. Oh, more bottles here with some water making some noises. And yeah, here in the dynamic mode, you get a little bit more feedback from the road. Suspension is also stiffer, so there's not that with some other vehicles, if you pick an air suspension, that you have to live with that all the time. So if you are in situations where you think, I need more feedback from the road or so, you can actually get it here too with the driving modes. But in general, you rather leave it in auto or comfort mode, really to get this kind of comfort, because I mean, this is what the air suspension is all about, a lot of comfort. So I would also rather go with that one. So let's go back to the auto mode. And the funny thing about this diesel here is, as it's so well insulated and also the acceleration comes pretty good, you really have to know you're driving a diesel. So the first time I got this vehicle, and I didn't really quite remember, wait a minute, was it with a diesel now, with the petrol engine? I went outside when the engine was running and just listened to, Okay, it's a diesel, because there's a different sound, when just running in neutral, because it's really hard to recognize from the driving experience if it is a diesel. So yes, this is a very refined one. Also the consumption is pretty okay. Long term we have something between 6 and 7 liters on 100 kilometers. Here, now in a heavier traffic situation, we can also talk about the assistance systems. You see the blind spot monitor is flashing here 3 yellow LEDs when the car is next to us, and when we activate the turning indicator, it's also flashing really to give an even increased warning. Then let's activate the adaptive cruise control. I also see it in the head-up display that it's now activated. So I'm doing nothing with brakes or throttle at the moment. And then the distance is kept in the car to the car in front of me. And I mean, maybe we're also lucky that we come to a standstill here in the traffic, which would normally be not being lucky, but then you could also see that the traffic system is working. So if the car is not standing still for a long time, it automatically also continues driving again. Just if it took some seconds, then you, for example, pull the ACC lever just once, and then the car keeps rolling again. And this is pretty helpful because you can really rather relax when being in traffic then. The steering wheel is actually quite large, but it's not hindering you while driving. You have to think also that with your hands and your arms, you see, is also in a pretty neutral position, at least for me now. So I found that pretty okay. Now we may be coming to a standstill. Yes, we're in super traffic. We can test the assistance systems. I didn't expect that we once were feeling lucky when being stuck in traffic. So let's see. Oh, there's a nice doggy in front of us also. So now coming. Hello, Mr. Doggy. Now almost standstill at least. Well, 4 kilometers. You see now the car is accelerating again. That's really helpful in traffic situations. Also, the sound insulation is so good here in that vehicle that you hardly hear something from the outside. That is also very helpful. So, and the sound system, we have the optional Bang & Olufsen mounted here, and that is also giving us good sound. Pretty good 3D surround sound. I like that. So if you're liking music, that one will also be something for you. Again, with the ACC in the highest build trim of that one, you also have, for example, traffic sign recognition. I see that in the head-up display also now, and then the adaptive cruise control is adjusting. So at the moment, there was a sign with 100 maximum allowed. So the car is also now accelerating up to a speed of 100 kilometers an hour, until another sign is being realized. Now it's going to 100. There can be sometimes some mistakes with it. For example, if there's maybe another lane approaching the motorway, which we are not on, you get a 60 sign, then maybe the camera catches that one and then breaks you down. So that can actually happen. So that would be the downside of it. The positive side about this is that you don't have so much risk to get into speed cameras, so you're pretty aware of it's always keeping the speed limit with the car. So I mean, it's a pretty useful system in general, and also this assistant, this predictive assistant, is also helping you to save some fuel, because sometimes when you, for example, going uphill and then we have map information, the car knows that you're going downhill after that. Then it already reduces the speed just a little bit to save some fuel. So that is also basically working. So let's get off that traffic motorway. We've shown you acceleration motorway, also about the assistance systems. Here again, a pretty good steering characteristics, a dynamic ride. It feels good to ride it. It's also fun to ride it, because you can switch around the suspension. But even the standard suspension setting with the air suspension is still actually quite sporty, so you can't complain about that. At the same time, the optional air suspension, 2,000 euros extra, gives you really good riding comfort. And so if you combine this compromise between riding comfort and sportiness, the Q5 is really on top of the game in this segment. I'm not saying it is the very, very best. That's always hard to argue, because everyone has different personal preferences there, but surely, I mean, it's really flawless suspension-wise, so you can only, applaud them on doing that. And also steering wheel-wise, or how the steering characteristic is, both easy to control, don't have to roll the steering wheel around too much, but at the same time, it gives you enough feedback and also a sporty ride if you want to have such one. Hey, I think here there was an Opel driving event, I think 4 years ago. Yeah, that was interesting, right? So somewhere where we passed by, say, yeah, we've been there before with some other manufacturer. Pretty fun. I think it was 2013. Yeah, it sure was one of our first videos. And yeah, exactly. We had a blue Opel Cascada there too. So memories come up there. Really funny. Don't search for our very first videos. Don't do it. No, you will not watch them, please, because our today's videos are way better. Damn it, now some people start to show us. But come on, watch this one to the end first, yeah, okay? Is that a deal? Then you can laugh about our very first videos, okay? Yeah, Michelle's also giving thumbs up. So, steadily approaching countryside now, and again, how silent it is here in the vehicle. Also, again, I wouldn't really realize if it's a diesel. So, meanwhile, I got it that I'm not the biggest friend of diesel, but this one here, a really refined one, even if it's the famous 2-liter TDI from the Volkswagen, Audi VW Corporation. So it's basically the cheating engine. But as long as they have improved it now, I mean, at least, even though diesels will surely not win prizes for ecological savings anymore. I mean, also the reasonable consumption here, so for a diesel it's really very well done, and still a lot of people will go for this one, and I mean, I can very well understand it because it's a very well done diesel, that's for sure. So you can also have some fun here, just in acceleration again, fun and calmness at the same time. So in every respect, I think they've really created a very good driving feeling where a lot of people can be happy with. So anything we didn't cover yet? I think, well, maybe the overview here is very good to the front. The sides, the windows are pretty upright. They give you a good overview. Also to the rear, frameless rear mirror. So the overview is also very good. I mean, we talked about that well, let's take this road here, sorry guys, because it looks interesting maybe for our some more beautiful shots or something like that. That could be nice, let's see. So overall, I would really say, driving wise, very well done, and the rather conservative layout on the exterior definitely helps to keep a good view, good overview in the interior. I would say that's it so far for the driving part. And now the conclusion for today, Audi Q5. So this here in the second ride, already with the first ride, was pretty impressive. Exterior, really a conservative layout, but with a lot of elegance, just, subtle design lines we can see. And overall, I think it is suitable for the overall market, because as I said earlier, usually, a lot of comments are, make something more spicy, but then at the real sales, if cars are rather conservative in the design, they often sell more, especially for fleet customers, for example. Interior then, very well processed, as we know from Audi, with, some elements I mentioned, for example, the inside of the doors in the front, they should really be covered, not only with some hard plastics, everything else great with the knob sound and the matte wood. It was also pretty well done. Again, also rather conservative layout. So overall, I mean, if you want a very joyful car as a compact SUV in the premium segment, that's not your car. If you want everything cleanly laid out with the elegance, then it's probably rather your choice. Driving wise, it's definitely among the top in its segment, especially here with the air suspension. You can adjust it how hard you really want to have it while riding. You have those driving modes and you have great comfort, but still a sporty ride, also with an agile riding feeling. So a lot of things they are doing very well here. If you compare it, for example, to a Mercedes GLC, Mercedes is clearly leading it and offering more alternatives to animal skin, for example, something Audi is really lacking majorly. Engine-wise, you know, the diesel, 4 diesel, is really a very good performance, but more and more feedback is also coming that you want to see more petrol, CNG or electric engines. And let's, freely discuss it. So far, if you run 40, 50,000 kilometers a year, diesel is still the way to go, but more alternatives are of course evolving. Overall, I think they really have a big stance here in the compact SUV market that is not changing with the owner generation, that has been refined in all of the different steps, the different elements they have here. Thank you so much. Let's hear your feedback, what you think about the Audi Q5, and also join us next time.